And if we keep being quiet, guess what's going to happen? Your children are going to grow up and they're going to continually be mutilated at the hands of those in government that don't have a moral conscience.
This is Hank Kunneman, who apparently believes that the government is going to give your babies trans surgery. As soon as they come out, boom, they get the trans surgery. I'm not really sure what this dude is saying now. Seriously, how does he get people whipped into a blood frenzy the way he does? If you don't know him, he's a televangelist. He's got a megachurch of, I don't know, 10,000 people, somewhere in that vicinity. He's big. He's real big. Omaha, Nebraska. Anyways, he's close friends with Kenneth Copeland, talks to Copeland regularly. He appears on Kenneth Copeland's network all the time and TV shows and everything else, the Victory Network. And he is absolutely unglued from reality. He's one of those people who claimed that Donald Trump won the election in 2020, and he needs that to be true because he believes that Trump's the Messiah. And he can't be the Messiah unless he won the election, unless he's in political power. Quick interjection. I won't take long. I just wanted to tell you guys, YouTube's algorithm operates off of a few factors. Watch time, whether or not you subscribe, and whether or not you like something. So if you really want to help my channel, I would appreciate it if you guys watch the video to the end. If you don't watch it to the end, just watch a little bit longer than you would have otherwise. I would appreciate that very much. All right, let's get back to the video. He believes that people prophesied about Trump taking political office for 2 terms, and Armageddon is supposed to be sparked into being while Trump is in his 2nd term, I guess. I am dead serious. That is what this dude believes. So I want to go through some of his more recent political statements and see what he had to say, because it gets absolutely crazy. Not only is the dude losing it on trans surgeries happening to children. By the way, that's not happening, FYI. There's never happened in the history of the United States, ever. Nobody under the age of 18 has ever received bottom surgery. Ever. And nobody, to my knowledge, under the age of 14 has ever received top surgery. And that's only happened a handful of times, 2 or 3 times maybe, that I'm aware of. So it's pure unadulterated fear-mongering nonsense, of course. Anyway, listen to this dude lose it on the rainbow, too, of course.
Did you ever think in your lifetime, and those of you that are watching, that the very rainbow that God himself brought to the earth as a sign of his mercy, his goodness, his covenant, his faithfulness is now been perverted and brought to a place of brainwashing that children now do not know or understand the true meaning or what the true rainbow is about.
Okay. God. He's struggling to, oh my God, he's struggling to get those words out, isn't he? I'm struggling to get them out too. In all fairness, I don't have 10,000 people sitting in front of me. So that, well, I guess, you know what? I guess more people may see this video than are at his church. So that may not be fair. Anyways, this dude's just absurd on every level. He's talking about the rainbow as if anybody cares. Why do you care? If somebody uses the rainbow as a symbol, this is just like Ken Ham. Dude's been talking nonstop, Ken Ham has, about how the rainbow is God's creation, God deserves it, and the LGBT community is stealing it from God, and blah, 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 you know, all this other garbage. It's ridiculous. Just find something else to do with your life, really, other than to sit around and think of things that God is pissed off about, honestly. Okay, if you don't remember the history of the Bible, or you don't know, if you haven't read it, maybe you've never read it, you've never been a Christian. Supposedly the rainbow was created by God after Noah's flood to show the world that God agreed, he promised to never flood the world again like that. He kind of dropped the ball because there are a lot of floods happening right now, but okay, whatever. Not going to split hairs. Gonna take a win as a win.
How did it come about? Why was it created?
It came about and it was created, the rainbow, because water forms into a specific shape when it falls or when it's in the air or whatever. And when the sun shines through it, refracts the light, it kind of splits it off and gives you kind of a spread. That's why a rainbow happens, if you were curious. And I could be wrong on this. Somebody fact check me. I believe the reason that a rainbow is round like that is because of the curvature of the earth. It wouldn't be like that if it wasn't like, if the earth wasn't that shape. Maybe I'm wrong. That could be completely off base. If I am wrong, somebody fact check me, and I'll cut this out of the final version. Anyway, let's keep listening.
And if we keep being quiet, guess what's going to happen? Your children are going to grow up and they're going to continually be mutilated at the hands of those in government that don't have a moral conscience. And
you hear the woman yelling in the back, "That's right!" Is that Marjorie Taylor Greene back there? We got a heckler in the house.
That's right. And we allow it.
And we allow it, he said. We allow people to receive bottom surgery as 5-year-olds. Just who believes this? Really? Does anybody buy this? Sadly, they do. Sadly, it's a ridiculously high number of people. That's why I'm even talking about this dude. It's insane. But believe it or not, there was more in this one sermon. He said even more unhinged garbage, if you can believe that. In the same sermon, he broke the Johnson Amendment. If you're unfamiliar with the Johnson Amendment, let me give you a 15-second primer. It's in U.S. tax code, and it basically says, if you are a nonprofit organization filed as a 501c3, then you agree not to endorse or oppose any political campaign or figure or whatever. Now, you can say an awful lot. You can denounce the gay community. You can say abortion is evil. You can say whatever. You can even endorse these people as a pastor, just not from the pulpit. You can get your audience to perfectly align with everything that you believe and everything that the other candidates believe, and it's still perfectly legal. But this guy still has a problem with the Johnson Amendment. Listen to what he had to say here. I'm just checking. Rainbows are curved because the water drops that the sunlight is shining through are round. Okay, there you go. So it's not the shape of the earth. Thank you for that insight there, Minecrafty. I appreciate it. That would make sense. Refraction of the light through water molecules. You're right about the shape because if you see a rainbow from the sky, it's a circle. Is that true? I'm not sure. I'll have somebody else be doing the editing for this video, and they'll find all the answers and they'll put it right here at the bottom for you, so you'll know exactly what's going on right here. So thank you for informing the audience. All right, let's keep listening to Hank.
The reason that our country is in the place that it is because people voted Democrat.
So this is illegal right here. He is explicitly opposing a political campaign, party, or figure. He's opposing the Democrats. That's right. There's a woman in the background again. That's right.
They voted and put rhinos into office.
Republican in name only is what that means, by the way. If you're watching in 5 years, Trump kind of popularized the term. It basically means a Republican that doesn't support Donald Trump.
Yes.
Oh, my God. Listen to this woman in the background. I love it. She's like his hype person, his hype fella, if you will.
Into office. Yeah.
You hear this? You're right. Yes. That's what she just did. Oh, I love it. I wish I had a hype person like that in the background. That'd be awesome, right? Maybe I should hire a couple of hype people. Maybe backup dancers, too. That'd be awesome, right? Have a couple backup dancers behind me, just kind of dancing and stuff. That would be metal. It's only a pipe dream, sadly. Maybe when I get as big as Hank Kunneman, I can have a hype man in the background yelling, "Yes, you're so right. Yes, absolutely." It's probably his mom, somebody said. Exactly. It probably is. It's probably his mom.
Yes. Well, Mama always voted Democrat. Well, Mama was wrong. You say, well, I can't believe that you're talking about that. Don't I have a choice? Yeah, you have a choice, but you're not using it. You need to look at the Democratic Party's, what their platform says.
I've looked at it 1,000 times, as a matter of fact. Yes, I know what it says. What are you upset about? What upset you in that platform? We can even pull it up right now if we need to.
They're the party of the non-religious.
No. Doesn't say that in there at any point ever. There's a reason why he's saying this. I'll show you in a minute. Just remember, keep that in the back of your head for a second. He says, Democrats are the party of the non-religious, right? Keep listening.
But it just so happens that they embrace a lot of Satanism.
Democrats embrace Satanism. No, they don't. There's the one. They do. You hear her? They do. They do. They embrace Satanism. Oh, you got to love it, man.
What has happened to our country has been the result of liberals who have an agenda, which is the agenda of hell, and it's to steal, to kill, and destroy. That's why they manipulate elections. And then they tell you that you're crazy if you believe that somehow the 2020 election, they say you're crazy if you think that Trump won. No,
Okay, well, I just want to put on record, as somebody to the left of hunting the homeless for sport, I do have an agenda. He's correct. I do. And I'll tell you what my agenda is. It focuses solely around getting your mom in bed. That's it. That's all I want. Just simply put, your mom. That's all. If I can get that, I will drop all, I'll call off all the Satanists. I'll tell them, quit eating babies. All I need is your mom. Are you willing to make that sacrifice for the babies that are being eaten right now by the atheists and the Jews?
Somehow the 2020 election, they say you're crazy if you think that Trump won.
Yep, that's fair. I think that's an accurate statement.
No, he did win. And anybody with the brain and anybody with the moral conscience and anybody that knows God knows that when you have this level of censorship taking away our constitutional right of free speech and you're censoring us.
That's not happening. Literally none of this is happening. He lives in a fantasy land where he is the victim of everything and everybody. This is insane. Absolutely absurd. The saddest part about this is that, like, this whole audience here, I mean, you can only see part of it. I believe he has an audience of at least 10,000. I mean, he's a megachurch. He's a televangelist, so I'd say so, right? This whole audience believes it, what he's saying, all of this nonsense. And the only reason he keeps digging his heels into this Trump won thing is because he needs Trump to have won for his whole theology to be true. If Trump didn't win, nothing makes sense to him. Everything falls apart. And not just for him, but his whole audience. He's built this whole theology around Trump.
Over something that you were paid by funny money of Soros and such.
Funny money, okay. From Soros, you say?
The media has lied to us.
Dude, this guy, God, it's like he jumps from random thought to random thought, and everything is all disjointed, and it makes absolutely no sense. He needs somebody to get in there and rearrange all the parts to sit them, like, next to each other so it makes a little bit more sense, like I have. Interestingly, I don't think I included this, but yeah, there's a new clip just came out from Kunneman not too long ago that I wanted to show you. And it's interesting because it kind of shows his perspective, his viewpoint on Donald Trump and his importance. Okay, now remember, he says Donald Trump is effectively a messiah. He is basically like Jesus, right? This came out mid-July 2023.
We're subject today to a lot more different things when a prophetic word comes forth about a candidate.
Okay, so what he means when he says when a prophetic word comes forward, he means when he claims something wildly and with absolutely no evidence. He claims to be a prophet of God, prophesying about political candidates.
About someone that God is choosing. It's subject to a lot of things. People who say, for example, that the 2020 election, they say, well, anybody who prophesied that Trump won, whether it be a prophet, an intercessor, a Christian, or just a guy on the street.
You're a false prophet, yes.
If you said that, you're wrong. Well,
yes, that's correct. If you claimed Trump would win in 2020, you were wrong. You're a false prophet.
If you said that, you're wrong. Well, wait a minute. If you believe that the media has been telling us the truth all of this time, and you believe that a guy that was hiding out in his basement can't gather a crowd, he wasn't.
Look, okay, first of all, I don't need to believe the media is telling me the truth to look at the vote totals from each and every individual state that were certified by both Republican and Democrat governors. And not only that, all the lawsuits Donald Trump won. I don't need to look at the media. I need to look at the 60 or so lawsuits that Trump filed against whoever to try to stay in office that fell apart. Some of which fell apart in front of judges that Trump appointed. So it doesn't, like, the media plays no role in this. None. But go ahead, continue with your fantasy land.
Believe that the media has been telling us the truth all of this time. And you believe that a guy that was hiding out in his basement can't gather a crowd. He wasn't even around the crowds, could gather more than 80 million votes. Well,
okay, he's talking about Biden. Yeah, Biden was being very careful because there was a worldwide pandemic going on. Trump didn't care. And as a matter of fact, that's part of the reason why Trump lost, because he did such a piss-poor job with COVID. Okay, now this is the relevant part of the clip. Listen closely here.
Well, you might want to re-examine your theology.
You might want to re-examine your theology. If you believe that Donald Trump didn't win the 2020 election, you want to re-evaluate your theology because he believes he's a Messiah. You know, the Old Testament has a whole big list of explanations of how you would know that somebody's the Messiah. Somebody is the Son of Man is what it was called in the Old Testament. You will know based on these characteristics. And it was boiled down. Basically, it was stuff like he's going to take political control of Israel because that was like the special place at the time. You know, that's the covenant was made between God and Israel. And he's going to spark Armageddon into being as soon as he takes political control. That's basically what the Old Testament says about the Messiah. Now, if you remember, Jesus didn't do that. That never happened. Jesus got nowhere near political power. So his followers, when he died, didn't get it. They were like, this makes no sense. Why didn't he take political control and spark Armageddon? So they said, he'll be back. He'll be back. Just wait. We'll see. We'll see what happens when he comes back. God will send him again. They thought it'd be in their lifetimes. It never happened. So the theology that Hank Kunneman believes is actually that Donald Trump, having taken political control over New Israel, as he calls it, or America, believes that America entered into covenant with God uniquely rather than Israel recently. That George Washington created that covenant by praying or whatever. He believes that since Donald Trump took political power over New Israel, a.k.a. America, he's the Messiah now. He is the Son of Man. He needs his second term, and the moment he gets that second term, he's going to spark Armageddon. That's what Hank Kunneman believes. That's the theology that he's talking about here when he says you need to re-examine your theology. Remember?
A crowd, he wasn't even around the crowds, could gather more than 80 million votes. Well, you might want to re-examine your theology.
You might want to re-examine your theology because Donald Trump is the Son of Man, the Messiah, the replacement Jesus. Really? I am dead serious. That is the belief. Now, we heard a few things from Hank Kunneman. He was talking about the Johnson Amendment and how Democrats are evil, and now he just doesn't care about the Johnson Amendment anymore, right? And if you remember, Hank Kunneman also said that the Democratic Party is the party of the non-religious. It says that right in their platform. Now, it doesn't say that. It's completely ridiculous. But I wanted you to remember that. So listen to what his wife said late March 2022. This is Brenda Kunneman. Keep those words in the back of your head for a second. We'll take a look at the Democratic platform. I just want to introduce you to his wife. She considers herself a televangelist and a prophet also.
I came home from the office one day, and I remember we walked into the house from the garage. I mean, we were just exhausted. We'd had it. We said, God, you know we're not a cult. We preach the Bible. We pray in tongues.
Yeah, that's the measure of whether or not something is a cult. Absolutely. 100%. Yes. So that's Brenda Kunneman. Just give you a little taste of it. Now listen to what she had to say about the Democratic platform. We'll see if we can find something about it. Check this out. Exact thing that Hank Kunneman said just a few minutes ago. This is late June 2022.
I can't find anything, and believe me, I've looked, anything on the left that is good to support.
Human rights? Left stands for human rights. I mean, just throwing one out there, you know. The right for black people and white people to be equals in society. I would love that one. And that's the left. That has always been the left. That's been the left position since Abraham Lincoln held that position. Yes, he was a Republican technically, but he was on the left as far as that issue went.
Okay, it's filled with lies and homosexuality and abominations. And, you know, in fact, the party, I'll just say it, the Democrat Party put straight up on their platform. On their platform. platform that we are the party of the non-religious. We don't want God. We're atheists. That's what they've said. You can go read it yourself.
Okay, let's check that. Let's fact check Brenda Kunneman, see how much we can trust this prophet of God.
They said we want nothing to do with religion. We're the party of the non-religious. I'm not going to give 50% to somebody that wants to support something like that.
I.e., you should be giving 50% to her, I guess? Is that what she's trying to communicate? Seems like it, right? Okay, this is Democrats.org. We've got the party platform here. Let's just see if we can kind of, we should be able to search the platform, right? Just Control F, see what we can find here. Because she gave us a quote, right? All right, let's just search this baby. Atheist. Is there anything about atheist in here? Nope. Weird. She told me a minute ago there's a whole bit about being atheist. Huh. Knock me over with a feather. Was she lying to us? Again, this is exactly what prophet of God Hank Kunneman told us earlier. Was he lying to us?
On their platform that we are the party of the non-religious. We don't want God. We're atheists. That's what they've said. You can go read it yourself.
I did not find the word atheists anywhere in there. Let's see. Let's search non-religious. Nope. No search results. How about that? We are the party of. Even those words are not to be found anywhere in this entire document. This whole, how many pages is this? Oh my God, dude. This is a long party platform. This whole 91-page document that is the Democratic Party platform. A whole preamble and all of it. The table of contents, the whole 9 yards. Nothing about atheism. How about that? She was lying. She lied to you. Can you believe a word out of her mouth after that? She's supposed to be a prophet of God. Unimpeachable. Above reproach. And she lied to you. How does she still have an audience? How does she still have people listening, sitting in sitting in those chairs, donating when the plate gets passed around or whatever the hell happens at their church? How does she still have people in those seats? The Bible specifically says, let's read it. I'm not going to quote it. I'm going to read it because unlike Brenda Kunneman here, I don't want to misquote something, completely make something up. Let's find what the Bible says about people who claim to be prophets who lie. Okay, it says here, Deuteronomy 18:18, I will raise up for them a prophet like you from among their fellow Israelites, and I will put my words in his mouth. He will tell them everything that I command him. I myself will call to account anyone who does not listen to my words that the prophet speaks in my name. Now she and her husband Hank are very clearly and obviously and overtly claiming to be prophets of God. They have claimed this position that was just outlined in Deuteronomy 18 and 19. It's dangerous territory because there's a specific prescription for people who lie about this. Let's keep reading here. But a prophet who presumes to speak in my name anything I have not commanded, or a prophet who speaks in the name of other gods, is to be put to death. How about that? That's a real quote, not a made-up one. Now, I don't stand for that. I think that's disgusting, personally. Putting people to death for anything at all like that is just wrong. It's wrong, okay? Putting somebody to death for freedom of speech is wrong. But for the record, this is a very, very anti-free speech section of the Bible. Just want to let that linger for a second with you. And second, I just unequivocally and without question prove to you that Brenda Kunneman and Hank Kunneman lied to you directly. If you want an example of them lying in prophecy, they prophesied that Trump would win the 2020 election, and he didn't. They lied. They claim to be prophets of God, and they're not. Deuteronomy 18:22, if what a prophet proclaims in the name of the Lord does not take place or come true, that is a message the Lord has not spoken. That prophet has spoken presumptuously, so do not be alarmed. Just following the Bible's instructions, just not being alarmed, not paying any attention to you, not caring, because you're full of it. You've proven time and time again you are liars. I don't know how else to take this. How else am I supposed to interpret this? She lied, right? She should, look, I don't believe in the death penalty. Again, she should lose her congregation at the very least. Why are there people sitting in those seats? There shouldn't be a single person listening to her talk. And she's got an audience of at least 10,000. More, honestly, because she's got a public presence, like an online presence. She's got like her website where she broadcasts her stuff and people go there and watch it. Hundreds of thousands, probably. More, maybe even. Seriously. Why? Why are they still there after hearing them blatantly, flat out lie to their faces?
If you said that, you're wrong. Well, wait a minute. If you believe that the media has been telling us the truth all of this time, and you believe that a guy that was hiding out in his basement can't gather a crowd, he wasn't even around the crowds, could gather more than 80 million votes, well, you might want to re-examine your theology.
Because Trump is part of their theology. He is part of their fundamental belief system. He fits in there like a glove. They need him to have become president in 2020 because their whole theology makes no sense otherwise. And now they're stuck between a rock and a hard place where they flat out lied to everybody around them, and they have to find some way to reverse course or to double down on it or to convince people otherwise that they didn't lie to their faces. It's an uphill battle, man, but you do you, I suppose. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. This is just absurd to me.